Commander Jake Morrison stood at the large window of the space station, watching the alien ships come closer. The ships were sleek and silver, moving through space like deadly fish through dark water. He counted 20 of them, maybe more hiding, behind the larger ones. "They're early," said Ambassador Lisa Carter as she walked up beside him. She was a small woman with gray hair, but her voice was strong. The meeting wasn't supposed to start for another hour. Jake nodded. He had been in space for 15 years and he knew when something felt wrong. This felt very wrong. The alien ships were moving too fast, and they were coming in a battle formation. He had seen enough fights to know the difference between a diplomatic visit and an attack. "Have you tried talking to them?" Jake asked. "3 times in the last 10 minutes, Lisa said. "They're not answering our calls. The only thing they sent was a message telling us to prepare for their arrival." Jake looked at the research station that was orbiting nearby. It was a peaceful place where scientists studied the stars and tried to find new worlds for humans to live on. 847 people lived there, including families with children. Most of them were not soldiers. They were just regular people trying to learn about the universe. "Get me a direct line to the alien commander," Jake said to his communications officer. "I have them, sir," the young officer said. "They're listening." Jake picked up the microphone. He had given this same warning to other alien races before, but he hoped he would never have to use it. "This is Commander Jake Morrison of the Human Diplomatic Station. We are here for peaceful talks. Any attack on human civilians or military personnel will be met with a response. We want peace, but we will defend ourselves and our people." The answer came back in a strange clicking sound that the computer translated into English. "Soft Human thinks he can threaten the Zephyrian Collective? We have destroyed 17 different alien races. Humans will be number 18. The voice belonged to something called Hive Mind Designate Zareth. Jake had read about the Zephyrians in the files. They looked like giant insects with hard shells and many eyes. They lived in groups and shared thoughts like a hive of bees. But unlike bees, they seemed to enjoy killing. "Sir, I'm reading weapon systems powering up on their ships," said Lieutenant Amy Rogers from the tactical station. "They're targeting the research station." Jake felt his blood turn cold. The research station had no weapons, no shields, nothing to protect itself. It was just a place where people lived and worked and tried to make the universe a better place for everyone. "Send an emergency message to Earth," Jake ordered. "Tell them negotiations have failed and we have hostile contact. Tell them to get the military ready." "Already sending, sir," said the communications officer. Lisa Carter was still trying to talk to the aliens. "Zareth, please listen to reason. Those are innocent people on that station. They have nothing to do with our governments or our armies. They're just scientists and their families." The clicking laugh came back through the speakers. "Innocent? There are no innocent humans. You spread across the galaxy like a disease. You take worlds that do not belong to you. You think you are special because you learn to fly between the stars, but you are just animals, and animals must be put down." Jake grabbed the microphone again. "I'm warning you one last time. Attack those civilians and there will be consequences. We will remember this. We will come for you." "Let them come," Zareth said. "We are not afraid of humans. We have been fighting wars since before your species learned to make fire. You will learn to fear us, or you will die." The alien ships moved closer to the research station. Jake could see the weapons on their hulls glowing with deadly energy. He knew what was going to happen, but he was too far away to stop it. "All stations, this is Commander Morrison," he said over the ship's communication system. "We are about to witness an attack on human civilians. Record everything. Make sure Earth sees what these things are willing to do." Dr. Helen Grant was in the research station, trying to coordinate an evacuation. Her voice came through the radio, filled with panic. "We can't get everyone to the escape pods in time. There are too many people and not enough pods. We need more time." "I'm sorry, Helen," Jake said. "I'm trying to get you more time, but I don't think I can." The alien ships opened fire. Beams of red energy shot out from their weapons and hit the research station. The explosions were bright and terrible, lighting up the darkness of space. Jake watched as sections of the station broke apart and flew away into the void. "Dear God," Lisa whispered beside him. The attack lasted only 5 minutes, but it felt like hours. When it was over, the research station was gone. 847 people were dead, including Dr. Helen Grant and all the families who had been trying to escape. Jake stared at the empty space where the station had been. Pieces of metal and plastic floated where people had been living and working just minutes before. He thought about the children who had been playing in the station's parks, the scientists who had been trying to find new worlds, the families who had just been trying to live their lives in peace. "Send another message to Earth," Jake said quietly. "Tell them what happened here. Tell them exactly what these aliens are willing to do to innocent people." The alien ships were already moving away, heading back to their own space. But before they left, Zareth sent one more message. "This is what happens to humans who do not surrender. We will give your species 30 days to give up all your worlds and become our slaves. If you refuse, we will do this to every human colony in the galaxy. Choose wisely." Jake looked at Lisa Carter. Her face was pale, but her eyes were angry. "They just made a big mistake," she said. "What do you mean?" Jake asked. "They think they just showed us how powerful they are," Lisa said. "But what they really did was show us exactly what kind of monsters they are. And now every human in the galaxy will know it too." Jake nodded. He was already thinking about the message he would send to Earth. The aliens wanted to scare humanity into surrendering. Instead, they had just given humanity a very good reason to fight. 3 weeks after the research station was destroyed, the alien ships appeared in the sky above Titan Colony. Governor Marcus Blake stood in his office, watching through the window as more and more enemy vessels came out of hyperspace. He had never seen so many ships in one place before. "How many?" he asked his aide, Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez. 215 ships so far, sir," Sam said, looking at his tablet, "and more are still coming." Marcus felt sick to his stomach. Titan Colony was home to over 3 million people. It was the largest human settlement outside of Earth's solar system. There were families here, children, old people, scientists, farmers, teachers, and shop owners. Most of them had never even seen a weapon, let alone used one. "What do we have to defend ourselves?" Marcus asked. 12 ships, Sam said quietly. "The HMS Defiant and 11 smaller patrol boats. Captain Amy Rogers is in command of the defense fleet." Marcus closed his eyes. 12 ships against over 200. It was hopeless, but he knew Captain Rogers would try anyway. She was a good officer, and she would never abandon the colony without a fight. "Send out the evacuation order," Marcus said. "All civilians to the emergency shelters. Get as many people as possible to the underground areas." "Sir, we don't have shelters for 3 million people," Sam said. "Then we'll have to make do with what we have," Marcus replied, "and pray that our ships can buy us enough time." Captain Amy Rogers stood on the bridge of the HMS Defiant, looking at the enemy fleet on her screen. She had been a naval officer for 20 years, and she had never seen anything like this. The alien ships were huge, each one twice the size of her own vessel. Their weapons were already powering up, getting ready to attack. "All ships, this is Captain Rogers," she said into her radio. "We all know what's at stake here. 3 million innocent people are counting on us to give them time to get to safety. We're going to hit them hard and fast, then fall back and hit them again. Make every shot count." The 11 other ship captains confirmed they were ready. Rogers knew that most of them would not survive the next hour, but they were all willing to die to protect the civilians below. "Take us in," Rogers ordered. The 12 human ships flew straight at the alien fleet. They were small and fast, like angry wasps attacking a giant bear. Rogers watched as her weapons officer fired everything they had at the nearest enemy ship. The alien vessel's shields flashed and held, but she could see damage on its hull. "Direct hit," her weapons officer shouted. "Their shields are down to 60%. But then the aliens fired back. Red beams of energy filled the space around the human ships. The first ship to die was the patrol boat Ranger. It exploded in a bright flash, taking all 37 crew members with it. "Rangers down," someone shouted over the radio. "They got the Rangers." Rogers gritted her teeth and kept fighting. 2 more patrol boats were destroyed in the next few minutes. The aliens were too strong and there were too many of them. But every minute the human ship stayed alive was another minute for the people on the ground to find shelter. On the planet below, Dr. Helen Grant was running through the corridors of the main hospital. She was trying to move patients to the underground levels, but there were too many sick and injured people and not enough time. "We need to get the children out first," she told her nurses. "Get them to the deepest shelters we have." A young nurse named Lisa Park was carrying a baby in her arms. "Doctor, what about the people who can't walk? The old folks in the care homes?" Helen stopped for a moment. She knew that not everyone could be saved. There simply was not enough space in the underground shelters for everyone. But she could not bring herself to choose who would live and who would die. "We save who we can," she said finally. "And we don't give up until the very end." In space, Captain Rogers was down to just 4 ships. 8 of her vessels had been destroyed, along with hundreds of brave crew members, but they had managed to damage several alien ships and delay the attack for almost an hour. "Captain, we're getting a message from the enemy commander," her communications officer said. "Put it through," Rogers said. The voice that came through the speakers was the same clicking sound they had heard before, translated into English. It was Hive Mind Designate Zareth. "Human Captain, you fight well for such a primitive species," Zareth said. "But you cannot win. Surrender now and we will make your death quick." Rogers picked up the microphone. She was bleeding from a cut on her forehead, and her ship was badly damaged, but her voice was steady and strong. "This is Captain Amy Rogers of the Human Defense Fleet," she said. "I have a message for you and all your alien friends. We don't surrender. We don't give up. And when our people come for you, and they will come for you, remember that you chose this fight." Zareth laughed. "Brave words from a dead human. Begin the bombardment." The alien fleet opened fire on the planet, but instead of targeting military bases or government buildings, they aimed at hospitals, schools, and residential areas. They wanted to kill as many civilians as possible. Rogers watched in horror as beams of energy struck the planet's surface. Entire city blocks disappeared in explosions of fire and smoke. The aliens were not just trying to conquer the colony. They were trying to wipe out every human man, woman, and child on the planet. "You monsters," Rogers whispered. She turned to her crew. "All power to weapons. We're going down fighting." The HMS Defiant and the 3 remaining patrol boats flew straight at the alien flagship. They fired everything they had, and Rogers felt a moment of satisfaction as she saw explosions across the enemy ship's hull. But then the return fire came, and her ship was torn apart. Captain Rogers' last words, recorded by the ship's computer, were broadcast across human space. "Tell Earth what happened here. Tell them what these things are willing to do to innocent people. Make them pay for every life they take." The bombardment of Titan Colony lasted for 6 hours. The aliens did not just attack military targets. They destroyed homes, schools, hospitals, and parks. They targeted the places where children played and where families lived. They seemed to enjoy watching the humans suffer. Dr. Helen Grant was in one of the underground shelters when the bombing started. She could hear the explosions above, feel the ground shake with each impact. The shelter was crowded with frightened people, many of them injured and crying. "Doctor, we're running out of medical supplies," one of her nurses said. "Do what you can with what we have," Helen replied. She was trying to treat a little girl who had been burned when her school was hit. The child was unconscious, and Helen knew she probably would not survive. The bombing went on and on. Every few minutes the ground would shake again as another building was destroyed. Helen could hear people praying, crying, and calling out for family members who had not made it to the shelters. Finally, after what felt like forever, the explosions stopped. Helen waited for several minutes, then carefully opened the shelter door. The world outside was gone. Where there had once been a beautiful city with parks and schools and homes, there was now only smoke and rubble. She walked through the ruins looking for survivors. Most of the people she found were dead. A few were alive but badly injured. She did what she could to help them, but she knew that most would not live through the night. As she worked, she found a working radio. She managed to contact other shelters across the colony. The reports were all the same. The aliens had destroyed everything. Millions of people were dead. Helen made one final radio transmission before the batteries died. Her voice was recorded and later sent to Earth. "This is Dr. Helen Grant of Titan Colony. The aliens have destroyed our world. They did not just attack our military. They targeted our civilians, our children, our hospitals. They wanted to kill as many of us as possible. 3,247,892 people are dead. They're not just conquerors, they're monsters. Someone has to survive to tell Earth what happened here. Someone has to make sure they pay for what they've done." When the alien fleet left Titan Colony, they broadcast a message to all human worlds. Zareth's voice was full of satisfaction as he spoke. "This is what happens to humans who resist the Zephyrian Collective. We have killed over 3 million of your people in one day. We will do the same to every human colony in the galaxy unless you surrender completely. You have 30 days to give up all your worlds and become our slaves. Choose wisely because this is what will happen if you refuse." But the aliens had made one very big mistake. They had left some survivors, and those survivors had recorded everything. The galaxy would soon see exactly what the Zephyrian Collective was willing to do to innocent people, and humanity would remember. President Nathan Cross sat in the deep underground bunker beneath Geneva. The room was filled with the most important military leaders and scientists from all over human space. Everyone was looking at the large screen that showed the numbers from Titan Colony. 3,247,892 dead. The room was completely silent except for the quiet crying of Admiral Susan Pierce, whose daughter had been living on Titan Colony with her family. General Frank Murphy was the first person to speak. He was an old soldier with gray hair and scars on his face from many battles. "Mr. President, they wanted to scare us. They wanted us to see what they could do so we would give up without a fight. But they made a mistake." "What mistake?" President Cross asked. His voice was tired. He had not slept in 3 days since the news came from Titan Colony. "They showed us who they really are," General Murphy said. "They proved that they don't just want to conquer us. They want to kill every man, woman, and child in human space. Now every human being in the galaxy knows exactly what we're fighting against." Dr. Kevin Walsh stood up from his chair. He was the head of advanced weapons research, and he looked nervous. "Mr. President, there are some projects we've been working on, things we never wanted to use because they were too dangerous. But after what happened at Titan Colony..." President Cross looked at him. "What kind of projects?" "Weapons that could destroy entire planets. Ships that could travel faster than anything the aliens have. Computer viruses that could shut down their whole fleet. We stopped working on these things because we thought they were too terrible to ever use against anyone." "And now?" the president asked. "Now we know what kind of enemy we're dealing with," Dr. Walsh said. "They killed 3 million innocent people just to send us a message. I think it's time we sent them a message back." Admiral Susan Pierce wiped the tears from her eyes and stood up. "My daughter was a teacher on Titan Colony. She taught little children how to read and write. She never hurt anyone in her whole life. The aliens killed her just because she was human." Her voice got stronger as she spoke. "I want to activate Protocol Omega." Everyone in the room went quiet. Protocol Omega was so secret that only 7 people in the entire human government knew about it. It was the plan for what humanity would do if they ever faced complete destruction. "Are you sure about this, Susan?" President Cross asked. "They killed children, Mr. President. They targeted schools and hospitals. They broadcast it across the galaxy like it was entertainment." Admiral Pierce's eyes were hard as steel. "If we don't stop them now, they'll do it again and again until every human in the universe is dead." General Murphy nodded. The Admiral is right. This isn't just a war anymore. This is about survival. Either we destroy them or they destroy us. There's no middle ground. President Cross thought about the videos he had seen from Titan Colony, the burning schools, the destroyed hospitals, the children who would never grow up. He thought about Dr. Helen Grant's final message and Captain Rogers' last words. "Activate Protocol Omega," he said quietly. Dr. Walsh immediately began making phone calls. Within hours, every human world received the same message. All military forces were to report for duty immediately. All factories were to start making weapons and ships. All scientists were to begin working on new ways to fight the aliens. Every human being who could help in the war effort was needed. But something else happened that surprised even the government leaders. People all across human space began volunteering to fight. Not just soldiers, but regular people. Teachers, farmers, shop owners, students, and even old people who were past retirement age. They all wanted to join the fight against the aliens who had killed 3 million innocent humans. Commander Lisa Park had been a military strategist before the war started. Her parents had been living on Titan Colony when the aliens attacked. Now she stood in front of a room full of military officers explaining her plan. "We call it Operation Payback," she said. "The aliens think they know how humans fight because they've conquered 17 other species. But they don't understand us at all." She pointed to a map of the galaxy on the screen. Every other species they fought tried to defend their home worlds. They fought the kind of war the aliens expected, but we're not going to do that. "What are you suggesting?" asked Colonel Sam Rodriguez. "We're going to take the fight to them," Lisa said. "We're going to attack their supply lines, destroy their bases, and hunt down their fleets. We're going to show them what happens when you make humans angry." The plan was brilliant and terrible at the same time. Instead of waiting for the aliens to attack more human worlds, the human military would go after alien worlds. They would use new weapons that had never been tested in battle. They would fight in ways that no other species had ever fought before. Meanwhile, intercepted alien communications showed that the Zephyrians were confused by humanity's response. They had expected humans to surrender after seeing what happened at Titan Colony. Instead, human space had gone completely silent. No more diplomatic messages, no requests for peace talks, no begging for mercy. Hive Mind Designate Zareth was in his command ship, talking to other alien leaders. "The humans are not responding to our demands," he said. "They have not surrendered, but they have not attacked us either. What are they doing?" "Perhaps they are too frightened to respond," suggested another alien commander. 3 million dead is a large number for such a small species. "No," Zareth said. "I have studied humans. They do not react to fear the way other species do. When humans are afraid, they become dangerous. I think they are planning something." But even Zareth could not imagine what humanity was actually preparing. In secret facilities across human space, scientists and engineers worked day and night. They built weapons that could destroy alien ships from impossible distances. They created computer programs that could take control of alien technology. They designed new types of ships that were faster and more deadly than anything that had ever existed. Dr. Walsh supervised the construction of the first prototype warship. It was called the USS Vengeance, and it was unlike any ship that had ever been built. It was designed for one purpose only: to kill aliens as efficiently as possible. "How long until it's ready?" asked Admiral Pierce. 2 more weeks, Dr. Walsh replied. "But Admiral, I have to tell you something. This ship breaks about 15 different galactic treaties on acceptable weapons of war." Admiral Pierce looked at him coldly. "Did the aliens follow galactic treaties when they murdered 3 million civilians?" "No, ma'am." "Then we don't need to follow them either." As the 30-day deadline approached, humanity's preparations were almost complete. New ships, new weapons, new strategies, and millions of volunteers ready to fight. But most importantly, humanity now had something it had never had before: a common enemy that had proven it would never stop until every human was dead. President Cross prepared to make one final announcement. He would broadcast it to every human world and every alien species in the galaxy. He wanted everyone to know exactly what humanity had decided. On the 30th day after the Titan Colony massacre, President Cross stood in front of cameras that would send his message across the entire galaxy. 30 days ago, the Zephyrian Collective demanded that humanity surrender all of our worlds and become their slaves, he said. They gave us this ultimatum after they murdered over 3 million innocent men, women, and children on Titan Colony. He paused and looked directly into the camera. They killed our people to show us their power. They targeted our schools and hospitals to break our spirit. They broadcast the slaughter of our families to make us afraid. They told us we had 30 days to surrender, or face the same fate on every human world. President Cross's voice got stronger. Our answer is simple. We warned you what would happen if you attacked innocent humans. You chose to ignore that warning. You chose to murder our people. You chose this war. He leaned forward. Now you will learn exactly why humans are the only species to conquer their own home world through pure determination. You wanted to show us your power? Now we'll show you ours. You wanted to make us afraid? Now you should be afraid because we don't just fight wars, we end them. The transmission ended and humanity went to war. 6 months after the Titan colony massacre, Admiral Robert Hayes stood on the bridge of the USS Vengeance. The ship was enormous, 3 times larger than any vessel humans had ever built before. Its weapons were designed specifically to kill aliens, and its armor was made from materials that had been considered too expensive to use in peacetime. "Sir, we're approaching the Zephyrian supply depot," said his tactical officer, Lieutenant Diana Foster. Long-range sensors show 43 enemy ships guarding the facility. Admiral Hayes smiled. It was not a nice smile. Only 43? They're not taking us seriously yet. That's about to change. The USS Vengeance had been hunting Zephyrian ships for 3 months. It appeared without warning, destroyed everything in sight, and vanished before the aliens could respond. The enemy had started calling it the ghost ship because they could never catch it or predict where it would strike next. "All weapons ready, Admiral," said Commander Chris Bennett from the weapons station. Dr. Bennett had designed most of the ship's new weapons himself. Each one was built to exploit weaknesses in alien technology that humans had discovered during the first attacks. "Fire," Admiral Hayes said simply. The USS Vengeance unleashed everything it had. New types of missiles that could track alien ships no matter how they tried to hide. Energy beams that cut through alien armor like it was made of paper. And most deadly of all, sonic weapons that shattered the crystalline shells of Zephyrian ships by hitting exactly the right frequency. The 43 alien ships tried to fight back, but they had never faced anything like human military technology, designed specifically for war. Within 20 minutes, all of them were destroyed. The supply depot exploded in a ball of fire that could be seen from 3 star systems away. "Send a message to Admiral Pierce," Hayes ordered. "Target destroyed. Moving to next objective." But the USS Vengeance was not the only human ship hunting aliens. Captain Diana Foster commanded a smaller vessel called the INS Ghost. Her ship was designed for stealth operations, appearing inside enemy formations without being detected. Diana had lost her brother on Titan Colony. He had been a doctor working in one of the hospitals that the aliens targeted first. Now she used her ship to hunt down alien commanders, appearing suddenly in the middle of their fleets and destroying their command vessels before disappearing again. "Captain, we have located the alien fleet that attacked the mining colony last week," her sensor officer reported. 67 ships, including the command vessel of Hive Mind designate Korath. "Good," Diana said. "Korath was the one who ordered the bombardment of the children's school. Time to return the favor." The INS Ghost slipped through space like a shadow. Its stealth technology made it invisible to alien sensors. Diana positioned her ship directly behind the alien flagship, so close that she could see the lights in its windows. "Fire all weapons," she ordered. The alien command ship exploded, before its crew even knew they were under attack. 67 other alien ships suddenly found themselves without orders, without coordination, and facing a human vessel that had appeared from nowhere. Diana's ship destroyed 12 more alien vessels before they could react. Then she activated the stealth systems again and vanished, leaving the surviving aliens confused and terrified. Her ship's motto, painted on the hull in letters that glowed in the dark, read, "For Titan Colony." It had become humanity's war cry. On the planet Kepler 442b, Colonel Sam Rodriguez led the first major human ground assault against an alien world. The Zephyrians had been using the planet as a base for attacks on human colonies. Now, it was time to show them what human soldiers could do when they stopped trying to be civilized. Remember, these are the same aliens who killed 3 million innocent people. Colonel Rodriguez told his troops. They don't follow any rules of war, so neither do we. Our job is simple: kill every alien on this planet and destroy everything they've built. The human soldiers were equipped with new types of armor and weapons. Some carried energy rifles that could melt through alien shells. Others used powered suits that made them stronger and faster than any alien warrior. But the most effective weapons were the soldiers themselves. Humans fought differently than any species the aliens had encountered before. Other races followed predictable patterns, used honorable tactics, and fought according to established rules. Humans did whatever worked. They used ancient guerrilla warfare tactics mixed with advanced technology. They attacked at night when the aliens were sleeping. They booby-trapped buildings and set ambushes in places where no civilized species would think to look. "Sir, the aliens are requesting a meeting under a flag of truce," reported Lieutenant Kevin Walsh. Colonel Rodriguez laughed. "Did they offer a flag of truce to the children they murdered on Titan Colony? Tell them we don't negotiate with child killers." The battle for Kepler 442b lasted 18 days. When it was over, every alien on the planet was dead, and their base was completely destroyed. The human soldiers had lost only 43 people, while killing over 30,000 aliens. But the most frightening thing for the Zephyrians was not how many of their people the humans had killed. It was how the humans had fought. They used tactics that were considered dishonorable by galactic standards. They targeted alien leaders specifically. They destroyed cultural sites that had no military value. They fought like they wanted to hurt the aliens as much as possible, not just win battles. Dr. Chris Bennett had spent months studying captured alien technology. He discovered that the Zephyrian crystalline shells, which seemed so strong, had a fatal weakness. If you hit them with sound waves at exactly the right frequency, they would shatter like glass. "We can build weapons that specifically target their biology," he told Admiral Pierce. "Every Zephyrian ship, every alien soldier, every one of their buildings uses the same crystalline material. We can make weapons that will destroy them all." "Do it," Admiral Pierce said, "and make sure every human ship gets these new weapons." The galactic community was shocked by how humans fought. Other species had rules about warfare. They protected civilians, respected surrender, and tried to minimize damage to worlds that were not directly involved in fighting. Humans ignored all of these rules. When the Zephyrians appealed to the Galactic Council for help, claiming that humans were violating the accepted conduct of warfare, the response surprised them. "You started this war by massacring 3 million innocent civilians," the council chairman said. "You broadcast their deaths for entertainment. You targeted schools and hospitals. Now you complain that the humans are not fighting fairly? Deal with the consequences of your own actions." The aliens were learning that humans had friends in the galaxy. Species that had been conquered by the Zephyrians in the past were secretly helping humans with information and supplies. They wanted to see the Zephyrian collective destroyed just as much as humanity did. Hivemind designate Zareth, who had ordered the attack on Titan Colony, was becoming desperate. His forces were being destroyed faster than they could be replaced. Human ships appeared everywhere, attacking supply lines, destroying bases, and hunting down alien commanders like they were animals. "The humans fight like demons," he told his subordinates. "They show no mercy, no honor, no respect for the proper way of conducting war. They are not civilized beings. They are monsters." But his words rang hollow. The Zephyrians had been the ones to target innocent civilians. They had been the ones to murder children. They had been the ones to turn war into entertainment. Now, they were learning what it felt like to be hunted by an enemy that wanted them dead. By the end of the first year of war, humans had reclaimed all of their lost territories and begun pushing into Zephyrian space. Alien worlds that had been secure for thousands of years were suddenly under attack by human forces that seemed to appear from nowhere. The aliens who had once called humans soft and weak now used different words in their military reports. They called humans relentless, unpredictable, and terrifying. Some alien commanders refused to fight human ships, preferring to surrender rather than face the new weapons that could shatter their vessels in seconds. Admiral Hayes received Reports from across the war zone. Human forces were winning everywhere. The USS Vengeance alone had destroyed over 400 alien ships. Captain Foster's stealth attacks had eliminated dozens of alien commanders. Colonel Rodriguez's ground forces had conquered 6 alien worlds. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Zephyrian High Command," his communications officer reported. "They want to discuss terms for ending the war." Admiral Hayes looked at the message on his screen. After reading it, he deleted it without responding. "Sir, aren't you going to answer them?" the officer asked. "They had their chance for peace," Admiral Hayes said. "They chose war instead. Now they get to see what war with humans really looks like." The storm was just beginning.